welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk about a topic that I have been debating with myself on whether or not to cover for probably like 5 days now. It is all that's going on in this crazy country and world of ours currently. I'm making this video with kind of a heavy heart because as a Black woman in America, to see that it feels like we have gone 100 years back in the past 4 years truly makes my heart the saddest. And I always wanted my channel to be some place where people can come and just relax, not worry about the outside world, listen to me talk and tell jokes, and just, have fun, get your mind off whatever is happening in your world at the time. But like I said, as a Black woman in America, it just doesn't sit right with me to have a platform like this, regardless of if I get 0 views or thousands of views. To not talk about this subject feels wrong to me. So I have a list of things that I just want to talk about, and I'm going to do a brown smoky eye tutorial while I do it. So without further ado, let's just jump into the video. I'm first going to go in, as always, with my NYX Micro Brow Pencil. This one is in the shade Brunette. Also, before we actually get started, I am peeling on my forehead because I got sunburnt last week and it is not the move. This was not happening when I woke up this morning. It is happening now. So we'll see how concealer goes on top of that. I really wish whoever is honking outside could cut it out because I am talking. No, but if I can't quite cover it with concealer, I'm just gonna have to make moves because I feel that it's important for me to say what I have to say today, and it has nothing to do with my peeling skin, though my skin is being very rude to me right now. Okay, so George Floyd's killing, it came right off the heels of Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor's murders, and I feel like people have just had enough from not only the Black community, because we have had enough. We are exhausted of trying to prove, trying to say, trying to tell people, convince people that we should have equal rights. And it genuinely bothers me. I get so frustrated because I'm just like, is this really what we are still fighting for hundreds of years later? And people still don't. People would love to argue me down and tell me that all lives matter and it's not just Black lives. It's like, yeah, but all lives aren't being murdered for the color of their skin. Black lives are. So it is important that we fight. It's important that we get our point across because people haven't been listening. People will get mad for a day that it happened and move on like it's nothing. And anybody out there who believes that Black people, the Black community, whatever, are only mad about George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery, you are sadly mistaken. You need to go do some research because that is not the truth. We are tired of having to explain. Parents are tired of having to explain to their young Black children, young Black men, that they need to be extra careful, more careful, because the color of their skin is seen as a threat, as seen as a mode for killing. Although those 3 names are the biggest that we're talking about right now, they are not the only ones. They have not been the only ones. We are angry that we continuously have our brothers and sisters killed for doing minimal crimes or nothing at all. With that being said, I feel like this could be a turning point in our society. White people are now coming forward and standing with us, and not silently, not just saying, yeah, that's really unfortunate that that happened, and moving on to the next subject. It has been over a week, I believe, since George Floyd has passed. And things have not died down. If anything, things are getting worse. And it's important. That is important. But I finally feel like America has started to wake up. White American citizens have started to wake up. People from all around the world have started to wake up and speak on the injustices that Black people have faced since the beginning of time. And if we think back to about a month ago, on around May 15th, when white people in Michigan stormed their Capitol building to protest the stay-at-home order, and we as a Black community said if we ever did anything like that, we would be shot at. We would be, they came with guns to the Capitol building and were still allowed to go inside. And then after going inside, spit in the face, yelled at, screamed at police officers, but were able to then turn around and go home peacefully. They came with guns and were able to turn around and go home peacefully. That's a problem. And that's just one example of the double standard that society and the government has on Black people or people marching for Black causes and white people marching for their own causes, which was a cause to actually save them and not harm them, but call me crazy. Now that I have my eyebrows on and concealer on my eyelids and set with translucent powder, I am going to go into this palette and I am going to take a mixture of these two colors and put them in my crease. And I'm going to take this on a fluffy blending brush. And this is just a random one. I've had it for years. I really don't know where it's from, but any blending brush will work. I'm going to first start with that lighter color though. So I was actually in Philadelphia on Saturday when the riots started. And me and my friend had actually gone to Chick-fil-A to get food. And the way that we have to go to Chick-fil-A to get to a drive-through Chick-fil-A, you have to go out of Center City, Philly. So we went all the way to South Philly. And we wanted to stop by because we heard that there was a peaceful protest going on in Center City at City Hall, and people were just kneeling and they had their signs and everything, and it was beautiful. So we were like, yeah, let's stop by. Let's just see what's going on. We'll just drive past it. We weren't going to get out of the car because the coronavirus, but we were like, let's just drive past it. So we go to drive past it and we don't even see anything. And we're like, okay, that's odd. We expected Philly to turn out, you know what I mean? So we were like, that's kind of odd, but okay, whatever. So little did we know that they had just marched. I'm now going in with that darker color on the same brush. We figured out that they had just marched from Center City to the art museum, which is it's probably a couple miles away. And so we went there. We heard that they were there and we were just like, okay, whatever, it's still fine. One of my friends actually was at the protest and she was saying how it was peaceful and everything was fine. Probably about an hour later, probably around 2:30, we found out that they had walked back to Center City and that they were now trying to take down Mayor Rizzo's statue. If you don't know, Mayor Rizzo was a former mayor in Philadelphia who kind of stood for police brutality, definitely racist, definitely homophobic. So, and he has a statue in Center City. And so they were trying to take it down. They had already vandalized it and everything. And we were like, whoa, this is what we were expecting. Probably about 30 minutes later, we start to realize that the entire country is protesting. I don't know why I didn't know that beforehand, but I didn't. And I was like, oh my gosh, this could actually get really bad. Okay, so moving back into this palette, I am going to take this color right here and just start to deepen my crease in the outer corner. And I'm going to take it on a just large domed shadow brush. And this one is by Real Techniques. So 30 minutes after that, we start to realize that the cops were, and let me just say this, Philly's protest, the one at Center City in the beginning and the one at the art museum, they were both peaceful protests. My friend went and she literally said it was peaceful and it was fine. And then it seemed like somehow in between going back to City Hall is when things started to get messy in Philly. And so they started to try to take down the statue, like I said. And then there were cops guarding the statue and like tear gassing people away from it and just being so forceful about it. And it's like, you're protecting this statue that stood for police brutality. He literally led one of the raids on, like a raid on Black people, and that's only one that I actually know of. I'm sure there's so many more stories that people could tell about it. And it's like you have all your cops around this trying to protect this, and meanwhile the people have made their way to Chestnut and Walnut Streets, which in Center City, Philly, is where all the expensive stores are. And they started looting. And that's when things for us got scary, because they could have came, I mean, we were right next to Temple. That's where like my friend lives. And so it's like, they could have made their way down there. Like, we didn't know what was really going on. We saw cop cars being burned. They literally looted the Apple store and then like, set a cop car on fire. And we were just like, okay, this is what we expected out of Philly. Like, but it's getting crazy. Things are getting crazy. So we walked to this Chipotle because, I mean, at this point, people were still in Center City. So it wasn't coming down to us yet. And so we went to Chipotle and we could literally see, because you can see from campus, you can see the skyline of like Center City. And you could literally just see smoke in the air. And it was probably one of the craziest moments because we were all just sitting there like jaw dropped. Like, I can't believe I can't believe that all of this is actually going on. And then we started hearing things like Beverly Hills marching and cities around the country are marching. And it was just like it was beautiful to see, because it felt like we were finally starting to make progress. Because it wasn't just Black people out there. It wasn't just people of color out there. White people were there too. And that is where I feel like my hope starts to come in, because it feels like it's not just going to be it's not just us fighting anymore. It's white people using their privilege to help the cause, which is probably one of the most important things you can do as a white person during these times. And because I just forgot to say it, I just took a flatter brush. I believe this is from Sonia Kashuk as well. Mine's dented, but it's just a flat eyeshadow brush. And I'm just packing on this color right here, just on my lid, just to add some definition from the harshness of the outside to like the inside. And then we're just gonna buff that out. And so as the night progressed, we literally were just watching the entire country up in arms. And it's like a bittersweet feeling. It's like, I don't necessarily like it because I think that it does instill a lot of violence. And I know that it does put Black people, again, at risk, because we're dealing with cops. And traditionally, they don't like us. You know what I mean? So it's like, while I agree that capitalism should be taken down, it's like, one, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and that puts a lot of Black people at risk, especially in Philly. And Black people are already disproportionately getting the virus and also spreading it and not being able to get the proper health care, thanks America, to help combat it or to get through it. And so that scared me. But at the same time, it's important what the people that were out there doing. It was important what they're doing. I'm just going back in with that darker color, by the way, and just adding it back to the outside just to rejudge what I already did. So after watching the entire world burning, it was probably around like 7 o'clock, 7:30ish, that we got an alert to our phone saying that Philadelphia had an 8 p.m. curfew. And that's when I felt like things could go crazy, because they tried to light City Hall on fire. They tried, and when I say they, I'm not talking about Black people. I'm saying the people that were there, because some of the people at these protests are not good people. It's either white people trying to take advantage of the situation, or it's people that are going there just to break things, ruin cities, and then Black people will get all the fall for it. So once we got the alert on our phone that we had to stay in past 8, we were like, okay, things could get crazy around here in Philly, because one, I know that they weren't going to listen to that, and two, I just felt like it was just going to cause so many more problems. And being in Templetown, where gentrification is happening, I just assumed that they were like, people were going to come start rioting around us. But luckily that did not happen, and we were able to get out on Sunday morning. I am now going to take this Wet n Wild face primer matte and obviously just put it on my face. I'm gonna use a mixture of these 3 concealers. I have 2 of the Infallible Wear concealers. My highlight shade is 405 Toffee, and my face shade is 415 Honey. And then I'm gonna use this 16-hour Camel Concealer by e.l.f. And this one is in the shade Deep Olive. I was nervous about Philly because I remember when the Super Bowl happened, everybody was out in the streets burning things too, and they never gotten that big of trouble, you know what I mean? Like, it was them rioting together. Like, you know, cops were out there doing crazy things too. So it was just like, I don't want Black people to just catch the entire fall for this entire thing when we're not coming. Like, I don't know, crazy things were happening. So it's like, it's hard to say, but I was just hoping that Black people weren't going to catch the fall. And it's like, the police that are out here making it worse, planting bricks in certain areas, you know, lighting things on fire, pushing and shoving and killing protesters, Black people, Black cops that are out here not standing up for the cause. It's like, that is detrimental to what the whole point of it is. I liked the cops that were kneeling with the protesters. It felt right. It felt like something that they should be doing. You know what I mean? Take a stand with us and stop trying to be so far against us, because it's not cool. It was never cool. It's never going to be cool. And it's not a good look. So I say all that to say that today is currently Tuesday, June 2nd, and I have a heavy heart, a really heavy heart, because the greatest thing that could come out of this is real change. That is what America needs. That is what America needs to be fighting for. And that does not need to get lost in all the hubbub around, which is why, like, it's so important to vote. I already mailed in my vote because my parents were just like told me to do it that way so that we didn't have to like go to the polling place, especially with like the coronavirus. But I mean, I did that weeks ago. So it's just important to get out and vote, to vote him out of office, because he is not it. During a riot, you're going to sit there and say you're going to send your supporters to what? To do what? Like, it's horrible. So that was also really scary, but I'm starting to feel like there could be hope in this whole situation. The fact that I saw so many people, I mean, people in Beverly Hills were protesting. Like, what? Beverly Hills, where I would think they could care less. Like, I get that California is typically like a pretty democratic state. They usually vote blue. Their state is usually blue, like, without question. And like, while I understood all of that, to see the unity of people from Beverly Hills, cities, countries all over the world, were like people in Iran, the UK, Canada, everywhere, just saying like to the Black community, like, we see you, we hear you, we're with you, we stand with you, we protect you. feels great. I feel like we've never had this much drive towards doing what's right, which is all we're asking. I've seen a lot of tweets saying that like the government should be happy that Black people only want equality and not revenge, because we should want revenge, period. But that's not even what we're asking for. We're just asking to be treated how y'all treat each other. I'm not sure if this is exactly safe, but I'm going to use it anyway. This is the NYX lip liner that I literally can't live without at this point. And I'm just going to put this in my waterline. Because I don't have my dark eyeliner anymore. My dark brown eyeliner anymore. And I'm going to use this Real Technique smudge brush and go back into this palette, taking this dark brown color right here and smudge it underneath. And as happy as I am that people all over the world, the country, what have you, are protesting and standing up and donating and tweeting, it does not stop there. It doesn't stop there. We can't forget about this in a couple days, in a week, in a month. Until we get change, we need to be this angry at all times, because it is the only way change will be made. It is the only way to get people to pay attention and to want to do better. Being racist in society today, I feel, is no longer cool. It's not funny. It's not cool. And we as Black people aren't tolerating it anymore. So just a little PSA, I guess, for my white viewers / the white community. Continue to be an ally to us. And by ally, I truly mean stand with Black people. Educate yourselves on what it means to be a Black person in America. Reach out to your Black friends, your Black family, and ask them how they're doing. With all the craziness going on, ask them how they're doing. Ask them what you can do. Use your privilege to educate other white people on how to not only be non-racist, but how to be anti-racist, how to combat against racism in America. Because it truly, truly starts with y'all. We can fight, but you guys know how to talk to each other on a different level, just as Black people know how to talk to Black people on a different level. So it's your job to actively be anti-racist and also non-racist. And by continuing to educate yourselves, you not only learn about your own privileges, but you start to learn the reasons why we are sick and tired and fed up with white fragility, systematic racism, oppression, racism in general, police brutality, and so many other things. We are genuinely tired of it, and it has to stop. I'm quickly going to do my eyelashes off camera, and when I get back, we can do blush, highlight, lips, and it'll be done. So now that the lashes are on, let's move on to blush. I'm going to take this angled blush brush. Again, I don't know where I got this one from. I've had it honestly for years and years and years. And I'm going to be taking the Morphe palette. This is the blush palette in 8W Warm. And I'm going to be taking these two shades in the middle. This one is MUA and this one is Unapologetic. For highlight, I'm going to be taking this Wet n Wild highlight. I've used it so many times on my channel, and this one is in Gold Flower Crown. And the last part of what I have to say is just to my Black community, I love you. And I truly do feel hopeful that this is the turning point in our lives where there is enough angry people to finally make a change in this world. It has been a long time coming. We deserve to have this be the turning point and this be the end. I encourage you to continue to stand up, to speak out, to donate, to continue to protest, because it is the only way that we will actually force change in this world. And we have to force it, because it is not coming to us just by us standing here. Society continues to tell us that rioting is not the way to go. And what I have to say to that is, oppressors do not get to tell the oppressed how to deal with their oppression. Period. The injustice in this country has to stop here, and it starts with us. It starts with conversations. It starts with education. It starts with rioting. It starts with protesting. It starts with standing up for the things that you believe in, so that we can make a better tomorrow for my generations, the generations below us, the generations that have yet to come, and the generations that have been here, that have fought through all the injustice and oppression that we have dealt with, like I said, from the beginning of time. It starts with us. Enough is enough. Enough has been enough. And this is the moment where we change it. Okay, guys, so we are finally to the last step, which is lips. I'm going to take this Kylie Cosmetics matte lipstick in the shade The Brown K, and I'm just going to throw this on. And that, my loves, is the final look. I really hope you like it. It's very simple. I just wanted to show you how to do a traditional little brown smoky eye, especially on brown girls with a brown lip. I mean, you could literally rock this day and night and be totally fine. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I really hope that you were able to take something from what I said. It was, again, very hard for me to make this video because it brings up a lot of emotions within inside of me about what's going on. But I also, again, did not feel right as a Black girl in America today. Not saying anything didn't sit right with me. So I really hope that you guys liked it. Be sure to stay healthy and safe during these crazy, crazy times, because it's important. Also, make sure to follow me on all my social medias. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so that you are notified when I post again. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, beauties.